Yo everyone, it's Brendan here. Today I'm going to be introducing a concept that people have mastered to be successful not just in finances but their life as a whole. It is the concept of delayed gratification. And of course, I'm going to be teaching you how to get started so that you can be on your way to achieving the same success. Let me begin by sharing a classic example to illustrate the concept of instant versus delayed gratification. Enter the Marshmallow Experiment. In the 1960s, Stanford University conducted a series of psychological studies to determine what are the key characteristics for success in health, work, and life. In one of these studies called the Marshmallow Experiment, children were brought into private rooms and had a marshmallow placed on a table in front of them. The researcher told the child that he was going to leave the room and that if the child did not eat the marshmallow while he was away, they will be rewarded with a second marshmallow when he comes back. However, if the child had eaten the first one before the researcher came back, then they would not get a second marshmallow. The researcher then left the room for 15 minutes and you can generally guess what the results were. Some kids jumped up and ate the first marshmallow as soon as the researcher closed the door. Others were seen scooting in their chairs in attempts to restrain themselves but eventually gave in to temptation, while a few children managed to wait the entire time. Now, the interesting part of this study actually came years later. The researchers did follow-up studies for each child for more than 40 years to track each child's progress, and what they found was surprising. Over and over again, it was shown that the children who were willing to delay gratification and waited to receive the second marshmallow ended up having higher SAT scores, lower levels of substance abuse, lower likelihood of obesity, etc. In other words, the experiment suggests that delayed gratification is a key contributor to success in life. If you look around, you see this manifested in daily life. If you delay the gratification of finishing your workout early and put in a few more reps, you'll be stronger and healthier. If you delay the gratification of buying that $3 bubble tea, then you'll generally be putting healthier things in your body and have the opportunity to reallocate that $3 for other long-term goals. When I was young, I remember my mother trying to teach my siblings and I the value of money. She wasn't afraid to occasionally say no to us when we asked for things. She would constantly remind us that money is hard-earned in hopes that she could teach us to be financially prudent and learn delayed gratification. This concept is uncommon in today's society. As kids, most of the times we get things instantly and we don't see our parents' decision-making process. So we end up not understanding and going through that thought process of determining what we need now and what can wait. Everything ends up being instant. We see this in social media, Netflix, Disney+, where everything is on demand. Those entering the workforce have a misconception that a successful career is built overnight and they proceed to demand unreasonably high salaries. Other people think that with an average salary, they can get 100K in the bank within a year. If you don't believe the prevalence of this in culture, just pay attention to the YouTube ads that we are being fed with every day. Don't know what I'm talking about? Let me refresh your memory. If you give me 35 seconds, I'll explain what's going on. These ads are targeted at our culture of instant gratification where people are looking for get-rich-quick schemes. Now, there's nothing illegal with what they are doing, they're just a little bit clickbait and salesy on the ads. The fact is that they are people too, and they need to earn a living, in this case through running workshops. I'm sure that if you ask them honestly, they will tell you from the heart that it takes a lot of time, hard work, and smart work. This leaves the participants disappointed because either one, the expectations of becoming overnight successes are not met, or two, the participants get some value out of the workshop, but just not enough to justify the cost. And that, folks, is why we need to shift our mindsets away from an instant gratification culture. We need to celebrate discipline and consistent practice of good habits instead of constantly choosing the easy way out and hunting the next get-rich-quick scheme. So what can we actually do to build discipline and adopt more of a delayed gratification lifestyle? First off, start small by setting long-term goals. Have a plan for the future. Make sure that you don't just cover today's needs but tomorrow's as well. Setting goals will naturally translate into actionable steps and changes in today's lifestyle so that you can achieve the goals for tomorrow. That's the foundation to having a delayed gratification lifestyle. From a personal finance point of view, the means and tools you will use to practice this will be related to investments. Instead of using money for expenses, you would invest it so that it grows with compound interest for use later on in life. To put things in the context of what we've been discussing so far, you're basically denying instant gratification by not spending money today so that you have more money in the future to use. That is delayed gratification. The second point is keep them realistic. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and expect to get the fruit tomorrow. The farmer also needs to consistently supply water over a period of time before he gets his fruit. Similarly, if you invest 5K a year, don't expect it to grow to 100K in the following year. You need to invest consistently over time. Also, don't expect to touch this amount for the next 10 to 20 years if you really want it to grow and ripen with compound interest. When I invest, I treat the money as if it's locked up away in a vault that can't be accessed unless it's for emergency use. Otherwise, you can pretty much treat it as savings on steroids that you won't touch for a long time. And number 3, start now. It is said that the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago and the second best time is now. When it comes to your long-term goals, don't procrastinate. Start now. Let me give you an example why. Let's say we want to retire by the age of 55. Now we can either start investing at 25 years old or 30, which is just a 5-year difference. Now let's start with $10,000 as the current principal and add $5,000 every year at an annual interest rate of 7%. The person who started earlier would have $581K by 55 as compared to $392K for the one who started later. You would have a staggering $188K less just because you procrastinated for 5 years. This is the power of starting now and getting compound interest on your side. I personally started investing at 26, and even I wish that I had started earlier. So take charge of your future by incorporating delayed gratification in your life. Set goals that are realistic and start now. And with that, thank you once again for sticking to the end of this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below and I'll do my best to reply you. Help me by hitting that like button so that the YouTube algorithm can help to push this out to more people. Once again, I'll be donating 1 cent for every 2 likes to 1 tree planted to populate the earth with trees. Subscribe and switch on the notification bell so that you never miss another video. With that said, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.